Good morning from the homestead, folks. As you can see, it's a little bit chilly up here this morning. Today I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the electrical project up here. So I know that we are technically an off-the-grid homestead, but some modern conveniences are nice, and it wasn't too difficult to get power poles up here. So I'm going to go over that. As I showed you in the last video, we got a pole barn up late fall, not too long before the snow started flying, which is right up here, and it's where we're going to park the camper for the winter. Over here, heading down towards the road, I cut probably a 15-20 foot wide swath all the way down to the road. It goes down to that furthest pole you can see right there where I'm pointing, and then it bends over, hooks a left right over towards the road. It's kind of been a long process getting these in, and today the power company's supposed to be up here running the wire, but as far as I know, they're still parked down at the firehouse. So now, before I get started into what I've done as far as wiring, I need to throw a little disclaimer out there. If you're watching this video, I am not an electrician and I don't pretend to be. Done plenty of wiring from the panel on, never done it for a service entry. So that said, if you take my advice, or I shouldn't even say my advice, if you go and do what you see in this video, which is not meant to be a tutorial, and then your house burns down, please don't call me. I had nothing to do with it. I don't have any money, so don't have any lawyers come sue me or anything like that. Okay, let's go and see what we got right here. So when I went to put the power in, the guy from the power company's like, hey, you got 200 amps coming off the street, so if you want to, you might as well put a 200 amp service in. And I figured, you know, I'm hoping to be running welders and stuff up here. Why not do it? You know, it costs a little bit more initially, but then that's one less thing I got to do later. Took a bit of time, but I found a 200 amp box. A lot of the places around didn't have any, and I ordered the 200 amp breaker panel from Farm and Fleet there. They got it out really quick. I got it within a couple days of ordering it. And it wasn't like I ordered any fast shipping or anything. That was standard shipping, so I was pretty impressed with those guys. Being my first time, took a little bit of learning. I got 4/0 SVU cable coming in. Thanks to the guys over at Green Mountain Electric Supply in Keene. They were able to help me figure out exactly what I needed to do this. Got 2 ground rods 6 foot apart, or over 6 foot apart. Just picked those up at Tractor Supply. And then we've got a 4 gauge stranded copper wire that goes down to them. Runs to both of them. We got our 200 amp service here. This comes in from the weatherhead up there, which I just finished putting in this morning. And then goes through the meter box, comes around, and comes over to my breaker panel. I got the bigger one. It was only a little bit more and had more room for breakers. I figured gonna have heated water buckets going off of this. And run a little electrical cord over to my shed there, so I figured I might as well have a few more breakers. That way I got them if I need them. Couple things if you do happen to do this yourself, especially if there's power in the box, like don't be leaving tools in it like I did. And if you are gonna work inside the box, it's good practice just to use one hand, or I should say the way I always taught to do it was use one hand instead of 2. That way if you do accidentally touch the wrong thing, you're not sending the electricity right through your heart, killing yourself. I got right here, I'm still wiring this up. I got a GFI breaker. As you can see, it says RV. I got some outdoor 10 gauge wire going to it. And I'm gonna set up a shore power connection for the camper as soon as we pull it in. That's basically it. Now I'm just waiting on the power company to come and run the line. It might have been a little bit easier to get an electrician in here to do it. Well, scratch that. It definitely would have been easier to get a professional electrician in here to do it. Probably would have been cheaper. I have a feeling, I've got almost $1,000 in supplies. Megan has multiple runs to the electrical supply store because I got the wrong thing or I forgot something or however. So it would have definitely been faster to hire someone to do it, but now I've got another experience under my belt. So it'll be something if I ever have to do it again, I've got that knowledge for next time. Anyways, hopefully soon, hopefully today, they're gonna have a lineup here. We'll have power in here and we'll be pulling the camper right in. Probably for now, I'll put some tarps up on the walls for a windbreak, stack some hay bales around the base of the camper to help keep everything a little bit warmer. The one thing I am gonna miss, as you can see here, is I've got tools and stuff in here. I've been using this as a sort of a garage. It's been really nice. I pulled my truck in. See, I oil undercoated my truck, my crew cab pickup. Got that all coated with NH oil. Looks really good, and only way to protect it from the Vermont winters and the salt, or I should say what's left of it. It's got plenty of rust. And I fixed the brakes on the neighbor's car in here and fixed the plow truck too. I got the plow working, which I'll show you in a minute. And probably change the wheel bearing out in the car tomorrow or later today before I pull the camper in. So here's this bad boy. This is the plow truck. It's a 90, I think a 97 F250. I traded 2 mowers I got for free and $400 for it. Came with a Curtis plow. It's a little different than the Fisher plow that I had on my old truck, because the whole plow flops down instead of like on a Fisher where it's just got the scraping edge that has the springs connected to it. It's kind of a crappy design here. You got right there, you got the hydraulic pump, and on the right it's kind of hard to see. Well, brush it up. There we go. The pump and the reservoir are sitting right down on a little plate, so any road salt collects in there. You can see that on the right there, the reservoir is freshly painted. When I went to get this thing going, I poured hydraulic fluid in the top and it was pouring out the bottom. So there was a hole right in the reservoir. So I popped this whole assembly out, lifted the plow up, popped the assembly out, brazed the hole in the reservoir, sanded it down, repainted it, filled it back up. And now, show you real quick, the thing works great. It's got the touchpad controller, which I hate. I'll use it for a little bit and maybe I'll swap it out for a joystick. Goes up and down, no problem, left and right. I adjusted a little bit. I'll see if I can get like a piece of a old oil tank or something. I think I got an old oil tank that the previous owners just left over there in the bushes. Cut a piece of it out, welded in along the bottom of the plow because there's quite a few holes. As far as the truck, I think I might have briefly touched on it in the last video. When I got it, it had a couple issues. When I picked it up, the alternator was seized. So the previous owner broke it free, but it wasn't charging. So I went and I got a used alternator for 40 bucks. But the plate on the back was the opposite of what I needed. So all the connections were upside down, stuffed right into the mount. So I disassembled the alternator, spun it around. Now the thing works great. So 40 bucks, I got a new alternator in it. Also, that plug right there, the top was blown out of it. So it was just the threads stuck right into the block. So I took it up to my neighbor's house. He's got a set of torches. We heated it up, hit it with a screw extractor, got the plug out, and now the thing runs like a top. Oh, and the other thing was it had a broken coolant line. So right where it goes into the block. All I did to fix that, instead of replacing that, I just slid the hose down further and clamped it off, and it doesn't leak anymore. And the transmission cooler was leaking, so I got one out of another truck for next to nothing and slapped that in there too. So I got the alternator and the cooler for 40 bucks and put a couple new lines in. All in all, I probably got, I don't know, maybe 80 bucks into getting this thing into a good run and driving plow truck. The last thing I got was this bad boy. Picked this up for the low price of free. I saw it on Marketplace down the road, and I was like, you know, it holds water. I'm gonna see if I can find like a cheap or a free outboard motor that maybe doesn't work, get it rebuilt, slap it on there, and then who knows, either I'll do a little boating this summer, or if not, I'll fix it up and sell it again and get a few dollars from it. When I brought this up the driveway is super icy, and I started going down backwards. Of course, our driveway goes straight out into the road, so ended up jackknifing the trailer and putting it in a ditch to avoid not flying out in the middle of the road and getting T-boned by a car. So you can see the trailer is just a little bit bent, but I'll probably have to cut that off, weld it, or something like that. This thing will be good as new. Anyways, that's all for now. I'm trying to make the videos a little bit shorter. If you're anything like me, you don't have the patience to watch the whole thing, and I don't blame you, so I'll try to keep cutting a little bit, cut them down a little bit. Anyways, have a good one, folks. Till next time.